Some MPs are calling for tighter regulation of electric bikes and e-scooters by introducing number plates for pedestrian safety, and that follows a number of high-profile accidents.
Should we go even further and make registration plates mandatory for all cyclists on the road? We're joined now by registration plates, and 72% disagreed with you, Timmy. They want the...
Now, MPs investigating whether Boris Johnson misled Parliament over a lockdown party or lockdown parties at number 10 are meeting today, a bit later on this morning, to conclude their inquiry. That's in the wake of the former Prime Minister's dramatic resignation on Friday.
Is there any future for the former Prime Minister in British politics? We're joined now by the levelling... Had a very busy morning. Thank you for joining us. Well, what do you think about the future for Boris Johnson? Is he still an important figure in British politics who could make a comeback, stand again as an MP? Or should he, in the words of your former colleague Tim Lawton, shut up and go away?
Hi, good morning.
That's fair enough. Yeah. None of us can predict the future. But what would you like to happen? You have had a mixed opinion of Boris Johnson over the years. You once backed him to run your party. You then said that he couldn't provide the leadership or build the team for the task ahead. You then served with him. You also then lost your job with him. I mean, I don't know where you are this morning on Boris Johnson. You've already paid tribute to him, but would you like him to be an MP again?
Well, I think...
Exactly. Is he a loss? You've said he's had enormous number of achievements. Do you consider him a loss to politics if he doesn't stand again as an MP?
Well, one of the reasons...
The question then, because you haven't said whether you think he's a loss to British frontline politics or not. Do you think he misled Parliament?
Achievements that you haven't actually mentioned is the extraordinary victory that Mr Johnson achieved for your party 3 years ago. He won you a thumping majority. He put paid to Jeremy Corbyn.
Yes.
And he garnered an extraordinary number of votes across the country in constituencies where you didn't expect to win, and you did win. He's going to leave a huge hole, isn't he? A Boris-shaped hole in the party. Whatever the future holds, his departure is quite seismic on about what achievements you may have got to by the time of the next election. So, I mean, the thing about Boris Johnson is, you couldn't deny this, he made politics damned interesting and extremely colourful. Would you accept that British politics and Conservative politics are this morning rather drabber, drearier place?
Well, I think I'd agree with the first half of that. Boris certainly brought colour and panache to British politics, but I don't think it's drab or dreary. I think that it is focused, efficient, it is...
To climb on those pledges. Boris Johnson says the party was in a better shape under his leadership. Who was the better leader of the Conservative Party, Rishi Sunak or Boris Johnson? Who's the better Prime Minister?
Rishi.
I'm asking you this on a personal level.
Yeah.
If you were to hear, say, in a week's time, that Mr Johnson was going to stand again as an MP, would your heart lift or would it sink?
Well,
but the evidence must be pretty damning, otherwise he wouldn't have resigned, would he?
We know what happened at number 10.
Yeah.
We know what happened under lockdown, and we know what Boris Johnson said in the House of Commons.
Well,
Obesity costs the NHS £6.5 billion a year in England alone. And some people say that the NHS shouldn't spend more on obese patients. They should pay for their own treatment.
Well, Dr Chris Van Telken is joined by the man who dismissed Boris